The golden sun glinted off the towers of Avalor City as the royal ship from Enchantia glided into the bay, its sails fluttering like butterflies. Seagulls cawed overhead, and people bustled along the docks, preparing for the summer festivities. Princess Sofia leaned over the railing, her eyes wide with excitement. It had been months since she'd last seen Elena, the Crown Princess of Avalor, and one of her dearest friends. "I can already smell the guava pastries," James said beside her, his stomach growling. Amber rolled her eyes, clutching a parasol. "Let's try to focus on diplomacy, not dessert." Queen Miranda laughed gently, standing beside King Roland. "Amber, I'm sure there'll be room for both." Sofia grinned. "I just can't wait to see Elena again, and Zuzo and Skylar and everyone." As the gangplank lowered, a brilliant fanfare greeted them. At the front of the crowd stood Elena in her red gown, her scepter glowing faintly, her long dark hair braided with golden ribbon. She rushed forward with open arms. "Sofia!" "Elena!" Sofia exclaimed back. The two princesses embraced tightly, spinning with laughter. Behind them, Chancellor Esteban greeted the Enchantian royals with a stiff bow, and Mateo, the royal wizard, waved eagerly while holding a satchel of maracas and potions. Naomi stood beside him, smiling shyly, and Gabe saluted with pride. "We've been preparing all week for your visit," Elena said, beaming. "It's the Summer of Lights festival, and I want you to see everything." The palace was alive with color. Paper lanterns dangled from balconies, enchanted fireworks shimmered in the skies, and music echoed through every marble corridor. As the families reunited over tamales and arroz con leche, Sofia felt like she'd stepped into a warm dream. But not everything was glowing with harmony. Later that evening, while Sofia explored the library with Elena and Mateo, a faint tremor shook the floor. The bookshelves rattled, and one of the glass chandeliers let out a crystalline chime. "Was that an earthquake?" Sofia asked. "No," Mateo said nervously, clutching his tambourita. "That's magic." Just then, Zuzo, the spirit fox guide, phased into view with a flick of blue mist. "We have a problem," he said, voice grave. "Something's been disturbed in the spirit world." Elena frowned. "What kind of something?" Zuzo's tails twitched. "A rift has opened near the ruins of Maru. Something powerful slipped through. We think it's a shadow spirit." Sofia's amulet glowed faintly. She looked at Elena. "That doesn't sound good." "It's not," Elena agreed. "We sealed the last one years ago." Mateo nodded. "If it is loose again, it could try to possess someone or drain their magic." Elena's eyes darkened. "We need to stop it before it finds a host." Sofia and Amber wanted to help, but their mom was very hesitant. Elena assured the queen, "You don't have to worry, Your Majesty. I promise to keep them safe." The next morning, Elena, Sofia, and their friends rode on the backs of Jacquees, Skyla, Luna, and Miggs across the hills of Avalor toward the ancient ruins. The skies were clouded now, despite the season. When they arrived, the ground was scorched. Old glyphs had been disturbed. The air shimmered faintly with magic. "I do not like this," Skylar muttered. "Feels off." Suddenly, a gust of cold wind swept through them. Sofia's amulet pulsed. A shadow peeled away from a cracked pillar and lunged straight at Amber. Amber let out a scream as the shadow darted toward her chest, but Sofia leapt forward, her amulet shining like a star. The light repelled the spirit, who hissed and retreated, slinking back into the ruins. "You okay?" Sofia gasped, helping her sister up. "I think so," Amber panted, eyes wide. "That thing was inside me for a second." Mateo held out his tambourita. "It's looking for someone powerful to latch onto. We have to lure it into the spirit mirror and seal it." "But how?" Sofia asked. Elena turned to her with determination. "We need a distraction. Someone it's drawn to. You mean me? Sofia blinked. Elena nodded. Your amulet's magic is strong. It wants it. Sofia hesitated, then squared her shoulders. Then let's do this. They set the trap using the enchanted mirror from the royal wizard's vault. Mateo chanted a binding spell while Naomi and Gabe hid behind stone pillars, ready to strike. Sofia stood in the center, the amulet glowing bright. The shadow returned, swirling like smoke, pulled toward the magic. It slashed forward. Sofia ducked, rolled, then stood firm. Now! Mateo struck his tambourita. Elena raised her scepter, and a burst of golden and teal light shot from both directions. The mirror glowed, the spirit screamed, and with a whoosh, it was gone. The silence afterward felt heavy but peaceful. You did it, Elena said, breathless. Sofia smiled. We did. Back at the palace, after everything had settled, Amber approached Sofia on the balcony. You were amazing today, Amber said softly. Sofia blinked. You think so? Amber nodded. I was wrong before, about focusing on just royal things. What you do, helping people, protecting them, it's really important. Sofia smiled warmly. Thanks, Amber. James came up with a pastry in his hand. Did I miss something cool again? Everyone laughed. As fireworks lit the skies over Avalor, Elena clinked her juice glass against Sofia's. Next time, no shadow spirits, just dancing and music. Sofia giggled. Deal. That night, the Palace of Avalor sparkled like the night sky, every balcony strung with glowing lanterns in colors that shimmered with magic, golds, pinks, blues, and violets. The Summer of Lights Festival was officially underway, and despite the close call earlier with the shadow spirit, the atmosphere had shifted to celebration. Musicians played from the palace terrace, their marimbas and guitars filling the air with lively rhythms, while the scent of roasted corn and cinnamon pastries wafted through the courtyards. Sofia stood near the fountain, dressed in a new gown, still lavender, but with delicate embroidery of Avalor's sun emblem stitched into the trim. Her amulet twinkled softly, reflecting the lanterns above. She smiled at the sight of Amber twirling on the dance floor with Mateo, who was doing his best to keep up, while James and Gabe were laughing loudly at the dessert table, their arms piled with sweets. Sofia, came a voice behind her. She turned to see Elena approaching, radiant in a flowing crimson dress, with gold embroidery that danced like fire when she moved. But what caught Sofia's attention more was Elena's expression, warm but contemplative. Hey, Sofia said softly. You okay? Elena gave a small laugh and took her arm. Come with me, just for a minute. They stepped away from the crowd, through one of the side doors, and onto a quiet vine-draped terrace overlooking the city below. From here, the lights of Avalor sparkled like a field of stars, and the breeze was warm and gentle. The music faded into a soft hum behind them. For a moment, neither of them said anything. Then, Elena finally spoke. You know, when I first became Crown Princess, I thought protecting Avalor would mean big battles. Fighting evil sorcerers, sealing ancient spirits, and yeah, those things did happen. Sofia smiled slightly. They really did. But what I didn't realize, Elena continued, was how much of being a leader is about understanding people, what they need, what they fear. You have that, Sofia. You've had it since the day we met. Sofia looked down shyly. I don't always know what to do, though. Back at the ruins, I was scared. Elena nodded. Me too. But being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means doing what's right anyway. She reached over and gently squeezed Sofia's hand. You're going to be an incredible queen one day. I hope you know that. Sofia blinked, a lump rising in her throat. Well, I learned from you. They stood in silence again for a long moment, watching the city lights and the occasional magical flare from the fireworks below. Then, softly, Sofia asked, "Do you ever wish you weren't the one who had to fix everything, that someone else would handle it for once?" Elena sighed, smiling with understanding. "All the time, but if it has to be someone, I'd rather it be me, because I know I'll do it with love." Sofia looked at her and nodded. "Me too." Suddenly, they heard the music shift into something livelier, a maraca-led salsa number, and the faint cheering of James declaring, "Amber is actually good at this." Elena laughed. "Come on, we can't let them have all the fun now." The girls returned to the courtyard, where the festival was in full swing. Naomi was showing Queen Miranda a traditional dance, and King Roland was clapping along, slightly offbeat. Even Esteban, much to everyone's surprise, was wearing a bright floral sash and sipping horchata with a rare smile. "Dance with me, Hermana?" Elena offered, holding out her hand. "Only if you don't mind my 2 left feet," Sofia said with a giggle. The 2 princesses spun into the dancing circle, laughter surrounding them like a protective shield, like light. As the music soared, the final fireworks of the evening burst into a brilliant display above the palace. Golden suns, amethyst swirls, and a phoenix made of sparkling flame, the entire kingdom cheered. And in the very heart of it, Sofia and Elena danced, not just as princesses, not just as protectors, but as sisters of the heart. The end.